Welcome back, everybody, to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. On to the trial. Trial number uno. June 21st, 9:48 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. What? Prosecutor Von Karma? You mean, fuck. I can't do girl voices. I even listened to her objection so that I can kind of get an idea of what voice to use, but I don't think I can go that high pitch. At least not without my voice constantly breaking. No, I heard it's his successor this time. Successor? Manfred von Karma was a really sinister man. He pulled all sorts of nasty tricks, all so he could win. He was a man obsessed with the word perfection. He had a perfect record for 40 long years. Who knows what sort of dirty tricks he used to get each of those guilty verdicts. And now, his successor. I wonder what kind of person they will turn out to be. It's no good. Mystic Maya! Hurley! You showed up. Thanks for coming all this way. I was really worried about you. Hey, where's your mother? Didn't you two come together? Mother is watching over the trainees. She said they have training for 2 days straight with no breaks. Huh? Then, you came all by yourself? Yep, I snuck out of the manor and followed a map. Don't tell me you walked all the way here. Of course not. I ran. I can't. Oh my. If it takes 2 hours by train, oh man. Hurley, what about the train? Huh? What's a train? Train. I give up. It's time, isn't it? I'm really scared. What if Von Karma tries to do something to me? At least I know Mr. Edgeworth would be nicer to me than Von Karma. Mr. What? Who is that? He's Nick's rival. Well, he's also a friend. I still remember him as though I'd seen him only yesterday. Every trial was a scorchingly fierce battle until the very end. It was always back and forth with them. But when you're rivals for life... Maya, please don't mention that name ever again. Huh? But why, Nick? I'm sorry, Maya. I forgot you don't know. He's gone. And he's not coming back. What? Wait a second. What's that supposed to mean? Court will commence shortly. Please proceed into the courtroom. Let's go. Now's not the time to talk about that anyway. Nick? June 21st, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 2. Court is now in session for the trial of Maya Fey. Are the prosecution and the defense prepared? What is with this kid? Mr. Wright, are you prepared? Huh? Yes, Your Honor. Why does he always seem mad at me? Fuck. Mr. Phoenix Wright. You must be a little shocked because I am a woman, correct? Hold on. So she's the famed successor to Prosecutor Von Karma? I am Franziska Von Karma, the Prodigy. I see. I gave up a promising career in Germany and came to this country for one sole reason. Revenge. Revenge? Is this about her father, Manfred von Karma?
If it's something of a personal nature, I'm sure you can... Oh!
I'm talking. If you interrupt again, my whip will do the speaking for me. Please speak with your mouth like a normal person. I beg of you.
Ow!
Make no mistake, I will defeat you. Prepare to go down, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Prosecutor Von Karma, your opening statement, please.
Those of Von Karma blood have only one fate, and that is perfection. The defendant, Maya Fey, will find no escape from her guilt on my watch.
Very well. What is the defense's position? Your Honor, does the defense wish to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes. Foolish fool who foolishly dreams of foolish dreams. 10 minutes. I give the defense 10 minutes before it changes its plea. That's right. I'll have you running for the justified self-defense plea in no time.
Justified self-defense? A plea usually reserved for when a person unintentionally kills in defense of themselves. We could very easily make a solid case that it was self-defense, but... The defense stands by the plea of not guilty, Your Honor. Because to plead justified self-defense is to say you did kill someone.
How foolish. If that's how you want to play it, Mr. Phoenix Wright, then I shall now call the first witness.
She's just as scary as her father. Like father, like daughter, I suppose.
Witness, your name and occupation.
Yes, sir. My name is Dick Gumshoe. I'm a detective at the local precinct. Ah!
Get to the point already. Explain to the court the details of this murder.
Yes, sir. If everyone would please look at this map. The channeling chamber has no windows and the door was locked shut. At the time of the murder, only the victim and the defendant were in the room. What were they doing in there? While they were channeling a spirit, sir. Channeling a spirit? Quite the look of disbelief there, Your Honor. Anyway, a few minutes after the channeling started, gunshots were heard coming from inside the room, sir. Few of the witnesses broke the door down and rushed into the room. Ah, that's when they found the victim was already dead, correct? I believe this is one of the most open and shut cases I've ever proceeded over. Diagram of the channeling chamber.
You say that every time, also.
So, how was the victim killed? I was about to get to that.
Stop wasting my time, then.
Cause of death. The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead, sir. The shot was fired from point-blank range. But before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest. The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. The murderer used the pistol to finish the victim off after the stabbing. So the victim was stabbed before being shot. This is the victim's autopsy report, sir. After being stabbed in the chest, he was shot in the forehead at point blank. Court accepts it into evidence. Mr. Wright, you may question the witness. The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead, sir. The murder weapon, Detective Gumshoe. Whose pistol was it? It was the victim's. The victim? Now, why would he have...
Why would he have a pistol? Who cares? The point that you are missing is whose fingerprints are on that pistol. If you're not already paying attention to that, then I suggest you start.
Fingerprints. There were fingerprints? Along with the victims, the defendant, Maya Fey's, were also on the grip, sir. So the defendant's fingerprints were left on the murder weapon. I walked right into her hands there. The shot was fired from point-blank range. Point blank, huh? So about how far is that? It's anywhere between 12 to 20 inches away. How do you know he was shot at point blank?
Mr. Phoenix Wright. I grow tired of the foolish foolery of the foolish fools of this foolish country.
Excuse me?
Gunpowder burn.
Gunpowder burn?
When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole.
Gunpowder exploding is what makes a bullet fire, and that gets real hot, pal. There were definitely some gunpowder burns left on the victim's forehead. Wow, never knew that. Live and learn, I guess. Before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest.
Stabbed? What was he stabbed with?
A fruit knife. I see. And whose knife was it? It looks like it belongs to the face, sir. And of course, Maya Faye's fingerprints are all over it. All over it, huh?
This does not look good. Ha ha ha! What will you do now, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
The wound is very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death.
How severe was the wound?
If it had been half an inch more to the right, it would have hit the victim's heart. After a stab like that, it's impossible to fight back, let alone stand.
His testimony makes it sound like Maya had stabbed him with the intent to kill.
The murderer used the pistol to finish the victim off after the stabbing.
Are you sure he was stabbed first, then shot?
Yep, sure as sure can be. One look at the wounds and you'd come to the same conclusion too, pal.
A fool is a fool who will only listen to the foolish opinions of other foolish fools. A pistol shot to the forehead at point blank is certainly enough to kill instantly. Does it matter, then, which was first? Think a little more before you open that big mouth of yours, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What a pain. That's enough. We have clearly established how the victim was murdered. I brought the 2 murder weapons with me today, sir. Very well. The court accepts them into evidence.
Murder weapon was Gray's. 2 shots fired. Bears Maya's and Gray's fingerprints. Murder weapon, small fruit knife, belongs to the Fays. Bears Maya's fingerprints. The date and time of death was June 19th at 3:15 p.m. Eyewitnesses claim to have heard 2 gunshots at this time.
And 2 murder weapons, both with the defendant's fingerprints on them, huh? Does seem like an open and shut case.
Naturally.
It's going from bad to worse. As if the summary just now wasn't oversimplifying things to the extreme.
Your Honor, feel free to slam that little gavel of yours. After all, there is no room left for doubt, is there?
That is quite true. Mr. Wright.
Yes, sir.
Even in the face of all this, do you wish to plead not guilty? It's the opinion of this court that if you do not justify your plea, you stand to lose.
See? Just as I promised, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You would change your plea in less than 10 minutes.
What will you do, Mr. Wright? Will you change the justified self-defense? Because now would be the time to do so. This is your final chance. It's a huge decision. I better think this through all the way.
If we plead justified self-defense, we would basically be confessing to murder. After the trial, Maya's life would be ruined. She'd be labeled a murderer.
I can't let that happen. Your Honor, have you reached a conclusion, Mr. Wright?
The defense will not change its plea. We will accept nothing short of complete acquittal. You have sealed your fate, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Detective.
Yes, sir.
Present the final portion of your testimony. The final strike.
Yes, sir. Now see here. Proceedings are run by... Ah! Oh, yes, of course. Go ahead, detective, and give your testimony.
I think the court would like to hear about the other piece of incriminating evidence.
Incriminating evidence. Sorry, pal, but there's an even more incriminating piece of evidence. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime. As you can see, it's covered in blood. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. Well, this is the costume. There certainly is evidence of backspray of blood on this. This piece directly links Maya fate to the crime, sir. I see. The court accepts this into evidence. Clothes Maya was wearing at the time of the murder. There are blood splatters on it. All right. Mr. Wright. Maya's fingerprints on both murder weapons and blood splatters on her clothes. Could this situation get any worse?
Huh. What's wrong? You seem to be at a loss. I think this is the last piece of testimony the prosecution should have to offer. Feel free to sulk off with your tail between your legs, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Please stop calling me by my full name. It's disturbing. Sorry, pal, but there's an even more incriminating piece of evidence. Why didn't you say so in your testimony earlier? You're kind of scary today, you know, pal. Come now, Mr. Wright. There is no need for that kind of attitude in my court. All right, just please stop glaring at me like that. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime. Maya's costume? Yeah, she was wearing this when she was arrested. Maya. She's wearing her channeling costume today, too. Is she not allowed to wear anything else? As you can see, it's covered in blood. This blood on the costume. And the lab results show that it is the victim's blood. So there is blood from the victim on the defendant's clothes. Definitely not good. So, were there any other clues you could glean from this piece of evidence? Well...
If you must change the topic, then the good detective here must testify again. But too bad. Not enough time. Let's move on.
Yes, Miss Von Karma is perfectly correct. Now even the judge is on her side. But if I bite off more than I can chew here, what should I do? Hang on. If I pursue this and I turn up nothing, it could be disastrous. You're right, Your Honor. There's absolutely nothing more to this. Good. Well, Detective, please continue with your testimony. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back.
He wasn't fighting back? How do you know if he was or wasn't?
We could find no evidence that the victim put up any sort of struggle, pal. So did the murderer have a fight with the victim, or not? Depending on this, the circumstances around this murder change drastically. We're in real trouble now.
If only I had something to prove that the victim did fight back. That Von Karma. She thinks she can decide the verdict with this testimony alone. Well, I'll find a critical contradiction somehow, and then I'll have her. Why is Miss Von Karma suddenly putting up resistance? There must be a reason as to why she suddenly threw out an objection like that. There must be something about this costume. I just have to look harder. I see it.
Mr. Wright! Miss Von Karma's logic is perfect. There's no way for you to poke a hole in it.
Looks like my time is up. So, about the costume...
Your Honor.
Actually, there is something very wrong with this piece of evidence.
What? No, what are you talking about, pal? Where's this problem you're talking about?
I've come this far. There's no turning back now. The problem I have with this piece of evidence here.
I asked the court to please take a look at the sleeve of this costume. The sleeve? There's a tiny hole there. A hole? That wasn't in the report. Hold on. What's that around the hole? It smells faintly of gunpowder. Gunpowder? No one ever told me. A hole that smells of gunpowder. Looks like I found the hole I was looking for. Your Honor, the only logical conclusion you can make is that it must be a bullet hole. Order! 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 This is a very grave matter. Best we correct the court record first before anything else. Clothes Maya was wearing at the time of the murder. Press and check button for details. Sorry about that. I guess we messed up, sir. Okay, it's just to show it. Is she actually smiling? What else is she hiding?
Pull yourself together, detective. That tiny hole doesn't change a thing. The strength of the evidence still holds. Continue with your testimony. That just now was a fluke. Nothing more.
How can you say something like that? This is a huge oversight. While I agree it is a mistake on the part of the police, what Prosecutor Von Karmer has said is true. The evidence still stands. If you do not find a more decisive problem with the evidence, then... No way. Detective Gumshoe, please continue with your testimony. Yes, sir. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes? Having you call me by my full name is kind of a weird feeling. You said that my client killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. Yeah, I did. Then what, may I ask, is the bullet hole you police overlooked supposed to mean? What does it mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means that the victim had fired off a shot. Is this not what it means to not fight back? Is this what it means to not fight back? You're right. It seems you are correct. If the victim had tried to shoot the defendant, then it would change everything. Alright, the wind seems to be shifting. Huh. What is with the "you are finished"? What is with that "are you finished yet" laugh?
Are you finished yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
Miss Von Karma.
It seems that Maya Fey was shot at by the victim. However, that is only grounds enough to support a justified self-defense plea.
That is correct.
But I'm sure you remember, Your Honor, what the defense clearly said. They rejected justified self-defense and pleaded not guilty.
Now that you... Well, that's right.
Which means the defense has yet to prove anything at all.
Well, yes, that's true.
Furthermore, just the fact that there is a bullet hole in the costume is not enough to substantiate even a plea of justified self-defense.
Huh? How so?
Don't just stand there. Hurry up and tell the court what transpired that day. With the new information we acquired added in, of course.
You mean by myself? You want me to put together a scenario all by myself? Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
What transpired?
During the channeling, the defendant saw her chance to stab the victim in the chest. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. The defendant then picked up on the opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it. The scenario you have put together does make sense. Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Wright, on the surface it does seem to make sense. However, I won't give up that easily. Please refrain from glaring at me like that. Now then, your cross-examination, please. What transpired? During the channeling, the defendant saw her victim to stab her chance to stab the victim in the chest. There was quite a difference in height between Dr. Gray and the defendant. Add in body strength, and it seems unlikely the defendant could have stabbed the victim. Now that you mention it, yeah, I guess.
You think you can get away with such flimsy reasoning, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Maya Fey was in the middle of channeling, was she not? When channeling with the Crane channeling technique, the medium physically changes. With the nurse's build, the defendant could have easily have been a match for the doctor.
I don't believe it. She even studied up on the Crane channeling technique.
Like I said before, I am perfect.
About what you were talking about, I didn't quite get it. Never mind. Let's continue with the testimony. Now, of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir.
So he was stabbed, but the stab wound didn't kill him.
But if you think about the blood loss, he was probably hurt pretty bad. How badly hurt would you say he was? Actually, I went to give blood the other day. And afterward, I felt a little lightheaded and dizzy. I guess the damage was maybe about 10 times the dizziness. Ah! Sorry. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun.
Where in the world did that pistol come from?
Looks like the victim, Dr. Gray, had specifically brought it for that day.
But a handgun?
He got it off the black market about 2 days before the murder.
Why did Dr. Gray bring a gun? Was he taking precautions against something?
The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed.
So, you're saying that the bullet hole in this costume was made then?
Sorry, pal, but yeah, that's what I think. Two of them were already fighting when a shot was fired.
Maya, I'm really glad you weren't hurt.
The defendant then picked up on the opening, and took the victim's gun, and did it.
Maya has never fired a gun before in her life.
The victim had already taken off the safety. With the safety off, even an amateur like you can fire it just by pulling the trigger.
Even me? I wonder. Now, do you understand? Von Karma's logic is perfect.
His testimony certainly makes us look very bad. But there's gotta be a contradiction in there somewhere. And uncovering it is going to uncover the truth. I can feel it. During the channeling technique, then
I feel like it's this? Hmm. Hmm. I'm not seeing anything obvious. Now, to me, this is like the victim took a shot because they were too close, he missed? That seems weird. How would he miss because they were too close? That doesn't sound right. The closer you get, the easier it should be to hit them. In fact, there's a faint smell of gun. They were talking about... Okay, wait. They were talking about gunpowder burns, how he had it on his forehead. I don't think they mentioned anything... When I brought up the Maya's costume earlier, I don't think they mentioned anything about there being gunpowder burns. They mentioned it being... about there being a smell of gunpowder, but not gunpowder burns. And it does not... seem obviously burned. Which means the idea that it was too close... incorrect? Yeah! Missing the tiny hole on this costume will be the prosecution's undoing. Eh? What do you mean? This little hole has actually created a huge hole in your testimony. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. You said the two of them were fighting when the victim fired his gun at point blank. If that were true, then where is the gunpowder burn on this costume? Gunpowder burn? This is what you testified earlier. When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Oh! There's not a single trace of gunpowder burn on this costume. That is a very good point. And what exactly does this mean? It means that when the shot was fired, they were still standing apart from each other. I'm disappointed, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You think you can punch a hole in my logic with that? With wishy-washy thinking like that, anyone can explain anything away. Then I implore you to disprove my line of thinking. Let's see. In the middle of their fight, the victim pushed the defendant away. And it was then, when they were separated, that he fired. How was that? As if that was even possible. According to the testimony, the wound from the stabbing was very severe. The victim would not have had the strength to push the defendant very far after that. Well, then... That's right. The defendant must have pushed the victim away. After stabbing him, she must have put some space between the doctor and herself. And then, while she was preparing to strike again, the doctor took his shot. There. That should satisfy even you.
That does make an awful lot of sense. What do you think, Mr. Wright?
I must be careful. Can't afford to make a mistake here. Concentrate and think. There's a fatal flaw in her argument, Your Honor. Fatal flaw?
Oh!
Very interesting. I would love to see where this flaw is. Show me something that contradicts my explanation. There has to be a snag in her explanation somewhere. He put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow. And when she was about to strike, the doctor took his shot.
There must be a piece of evidence that contradicts this line of thinking. If it was 8 inches off the ground, it must have occurred while they were still sitting down. Which means the first shot, if Maya were the murderer, the first shot must have been shot while the channeling was still going on. First shot, scared, pull the knife, stab, and then grab the gun and shoot again. This shot otherwise doesn't make any sense. And it's like, shot at point blank, but that insinuates that. So Von Karma is saying, stab, pushes him away. And she's approaching him again. He shoots, misses, barely, and then she grabs the gun, shoots point blank. That's insinuated by the fact that she's reapproaching. So that wouldn't be it. It wouldn't be this, because that's the first weapon. It wouldn't be this, because that has the bullet hole. We've already established that. We established the order of events already. This. Yes, this is the piece of evidence that destroys your logic. What's that? A folding screen? I would like to point the court's attention to the hole in this folding screen. Ah. It looks like you already know what I'm talking about. Who? Where? What? Mr. Wright, your explanation, please. Are these two really that clueless? The bullet went through the defendant's sleeve first, then the folding screen. It passed through at a height of approximately 8 inches off the ground, which means when the shot was fired, Maya, I mean the defendant, was not getting ready to strike, but was actually squatting low to the ground. Order! Order! But this changes everything. Please look at this diagram of the crime scene. The victim, Dr. Gray, was here when he fired the shot. And the bullet hit this folding screen. It hit at this location, about 8 inches off the ground. At this time, the defendant was in this area. Would have been right around here. Somewhere around here. Uh-oh. Judge's face is scrunched and he smells some serious bad breath. Well, that means, wait, I just realized I forgot to brush this morning. Excuse me while I freshen up. Sure. In the meantime, I want you to think things through, Mr. Wright. Okay, they must want it specifically here. Or right here. No, because that's not close enough. So it must be right here. Huh? Time when the defendant was in this area. Maybe close to the hole? I'm not sure what it wants. Okay. I mean, she didn't have to be standing near the folding screen. She could have just been around it. Like, it's just closed. Like, I've never fired a shot before, to be honest. Actually, no, I have, but it was when I was like 14 at a gun range supervised. But besides the point. Like, I don't think the close would really cause much of a change in direction.
So, like, she could have easily been, like, standing here. Or maybe if the victim was, like, left-handed, I don't know if he is, but if the victim was left-handed, he could have, like, shot too quickly. And even if she was standing here, the shot would have, like, went left hand, kind of like this. So it still could have shot. I don't know. I don't know. But then again, that would mean that there would be a gunpowder burn if they were too close together. Because what would this be? This would be about a foot, which would be about point blank. Maybe? I don't know. I can't tell because I don't have, like, I don't know the exact inches. I don't know. So, okay. Wait a second. We know the defendant was close to the ground based on the height of the bullet hole. But how can you gauge the distance from that? I forgot about her fist slamming. Isn't it possible that the victim was standing much closer to the victim? Oh, they're explaining it. Oops. That's impossible. But why? You, of all people, should know the answer to that question, Miss Von Karma. If she were shot from somewhere closer, there would be gunpowder burns present. Okay. So yeah, I guess... Like, I don't really know how big this room is, but I guess if she was standing, like, right here, it would still be within that foot and a half distance. She would have to be, like, over here. The room didn't look that small, but... okay. There'd be gunpowder burns present. However, there is nothing of the sort around the bullet hole of this costume. Ah! Curse you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You!
I believe it has now been proven that the defendant was standing away from the victim when she was shot at. Do you think this has changed the defendant's situation?
Honestly, Your Honor, this changes everything. The prosecution has claimed the defendant was aiming to kill by stabbing. If that were true, delivering the final strike with the knife would be ideal. However, where and what was the defendant doing at the time?
Squatting all the way by the folding screen?
Exactly. If Maya Fey was the real murderer, why would she be by the folding screen instead of preparing to strike?
On further consideration, it does make very little sense.
I figured there had to be a reason. Figuring things out and proving the logic behind everything is your job. Alright. With this, the rest of the trial should be in the blast radius of disaster. You are such a smart man, Mr. Phoenix Wright. To think that you've been able to take a completely hopeless case to this point. Now, I know why Papa had a tough time with you. You amuse me. All the things to inherit, why did it have to be that smarmy smile? Detective, how dare you damage my perfect logic?
Huh? How is it all my fault?
You can start repairing your standing by first removing that 3-strand goatee. Oh, and rest assured, your punishment will come later.
Punishment?
Well then, Your Honor, I think I've had all I can take of this detective's face. I think it's time to call in the next witness.
Next witness? It's gotta be Lotta. Very well. Court will take a 5-minute recess. After we reconvene, we will hear from the next witness.
To be continued. Damn, the second part of the trial already? Ba-bam! 11:37 a.m. That was a close one. I know you were giving it your all to defend me. but I could feel the death penalty hanging in the air.
Felt like I was pretty close to dying myself.
But you were wonderful out there. You listened carefully, made theories, and tricked everyone into believing you.
Thanks. Wait, tricked?
That must be the lawyer's secret technique, right? By the way, is the next witness who I think it is?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Lotta Hart.
Oh, guess there's no escaping her, huh? Remember, Nick, you promised you'd save me. If you lose, me and my sister's ghost will come after you and haunt you. Your sister? Are you talking about Mystic Mia? Yeah, do you remember her, Pearly? My sister was a super good lawyer. She was also Nick's teacher. Oh, I didn't know that.
11:43 a.m. Court will now reconvene. Now, the first order of... Oh!
I don't want to hear it, old man. After I call my witness, sit there quietly and watch like a good little boy.
Yes, sir.
Bring in the photographer who witnessed the channeling.
Yeehaw.
Witness, your name and occupation, if you please.
Hey, Phoenix. How you doing?
Just fine.
Sorry about this. Didn't exactly have a choice, you know? Ah, yowza!
Name and occupation.
I declare, what in tarnation?
Hey, Judge, this here is violence against my fair self.
That's fine.
That's fine. That ain't fine. That's a whip.
Yeah?
There's no need for foolish outcries from foolishly foolish fools. Just hurry up and testify about what happened on the day of the murder. I haven't even gotten to say my name and job yet. Name's Lotta Hart, paranormal photographer, and I'm here to testify.
Now, let's all just be one big happy family. Okay?
Witness's account. Oh, only the doc and the defendant went into the channeling chamber. We were waiting outside the door, and then, bang, we heard this gunshot. Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down, and we rushed into the room. Inside was the dead victim and the defendant waving a pistol around. I swear, other than those two, there was no one else in the room.
Did you take a picture of the scene right after the murder took place?
Reckon course. Excuse me? Reckon course. It's short for you reckon? Of course I did. Yeah! Does it look like I care? Just hurry up and show your picture to the court.
Moment of truth. What will be in that picture?
Let's see here. This here's the picture.
It certainly seemed that only the defendant and the victim were in that room.
Picture taken at the murder scene. Lotta's picture added to the court record. Are you ready, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
It will clear all doubt about Maya through this cross-examination. Just watch me.
Witness's account. Only the doc and the defendant went into the channeling chamber. Was it really only those two that went in? What are you blabbering about? You were there too, were you not? Why don't you answer that yourself? Was it really just the two of them?
Yes. Dr. Gray and Maya were the only two that went into that room. Hold on. We can't have the defense testifying against its own client.
Anyway, folks, only the two of them went into the channeling chamber, you hear? But you knew that from the very beginning, didn't you? Witness continue. We were waiting outside the door, and then bang! We heard this gunshot.
Was it really a gunshot? You're getting real desperate here.
Are you insane? You must have heard it as well. Why don't you testify for the court, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Was it really a gunshot?
Yes. I think it was something that sounded like a gunshot. And why are we here listening to the defense testify? The world becomes just a little crueler. I heard a gunshot a long time ago, so I know. And I tell you, that was a gunshot I heard. Now this is where the story heats up. Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down. We rushed into the room. So, let me get this straight. This Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down.
Honestly, Mr. Phoenix Wright, why don't you tell us what happened then?
Yes, Miss Von Karma. I broke the door down. Sorry. Why does this feel like an inquisition?
No need for apologizing. That was great. You're a real man.
Oh, really? That's something I would have liked to see. The judge is smiling rather openly. I'll take that as a good sign.
And what did you see once you broke in? Inside was the dead victim and the defendant waving a pistol around.
Are you sure it was the defendant, Maya Fey?
Sure, I'm sure.
Lotta seems awfully confident in her testimony. Lotta, please, think back to that day one more time.
What you getting at?
Remember what you said when we broke into the room.
I was murdered.
Lotta, at a time like this, times like this are perfect for snapping up shots. But anyway, what's going on here? This gal, is she Maya? When you saw the murderer at that time, you couldn't even tell if it was Maya Fey or not. Am I correct?
Well, you see...
Order! Miss Hart, you're here to present accurate testimony.
Sorry.
Good, this shifts things back to my side. This shifts things back to my side.
For a defense lawyer, your defense is terribly lacking, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Witness, think back to when those two entered the channeling chamber.
When they entered?
One of those people that entered the chamber was Maya Fey, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was Maya that went in. Looks like we've come to a collective conclusion. The person in this picture is most certainly Maya Fey.
Exactly.
Rats, and I'm trapped like one. Again.
I swear, other than those two, there was no one else in the room.
Are you absolutely certain of that?
Sure am, but that old witch chases out of the room, so...
Old witch? Does she mean Morgan Fey?
But there was no one else in there, and you know it.
The channeling chamber was very dark, almost pitch black. Was there really no one else in there? What about behind the folding screen? Did you check back there?
Given.
Huh? What in the...
Given. You know, you reckon? That's a given. Took me a good look around the room once. There ain't no way anyone was hanging out behind that folding screen.
I may have a word with you, Miss Hart.
What? You got a problem?
Given. I mean, I'm having a little difficulty in understanding you. If you would stop saying such things as Given... Ah!
Now then, Mr. Phoenix Wright, do you have a problem with the testimony, or don't you?
Just as I thought, there's nothing wrong with her testimony. I was with her, so I know she's telling the truth. Enough! Seems that there was no issue with Miss Hart's testimony.
At the time of the crime, only two people were in the channeling chamber. The victim, Dr. Turner Gray, and the defendant, Maya Fey.
The face of the defendants cannot be verified in this picture. However, if you think about the circumstances, it would have to be the defendant.
What am I going to do if I just let this go?
What is it, Mr. Wright? You look as if you have something to say.
If I make one wrong move, I'm gonna have the judge against me. Is there anything I can present that would prove it's not Maya in this photo? Your Honor,
Mr. Wright?
it is possible that the person in this photo is not the defendant.
What? Do you know what you are proposing?
Yeah! Well, that's just plain fool's talk. Thanks, guys. Your show of support was just great.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please show the court some proof. Prove to this court that the person in this photo is not Maya Fey.
Are they talking about a lack of a bullet hole visible? She's only 18?
It was Pearl.
Oh, wait a minute. But you can't see the front. That bullet hole should go through the sleeve. I think it's this, or the picture itself. Okay. Here is your proof. Is there a problem? Oh no, I thought I would work on my inflections. Just wondering what an objection with a twist of your wrong sounds like.
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry, but I don't follow your logic. Ow!
Shoot, guess I wasn't showing enough confidence. Alrighty then. Here is your proof.
Well, Mr. Wright.
Nothing, Your Honor. It's very smart of you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You really should give up trying to prove this is not Maya Fey. Didn't say anything about giving up. I just don't have the right piece of evidence to prove my argument.
That's enough.
Is this it? Is this all I could do?
I think it's quite obvious to this court that a verdict of not guilty is not possible.
I told you. Totally 100% impossible.
Ms. Von Karma, do you have any further questions for this witness?
Having established the defendant's guilt, further questioning won't be needed.
What about the defense? No further questions, I presume.
I couldn't protect Maya. The defense... Phoenix, you can't make that kind of face. A lawyer is someone who smiles, no matter how bad it gets. Mia! I guess I made it just in time, wouldn't you say? But... Pearls! Her clothes are a bit small. Anyway, what are you waiting for, Phoenix? Let's go. But how? She's already taken away every advantage. The advantage is still in your hand. Think carefully, one more time about what you saw in the channeling chamber. Do you remember what you told me yesterday?
Dr. Gray!
Yeah, there's 2 photographs. I knew about that, it's just... I didn't know how to get it. I was... murdered. What? Lana, at a time like this? Times like this are perfect for snapping up shots. You see, there is one final piece to this puzzle. Mia. Question Lana one more time, Phoenix. don't know if she's doing it unconsciously or on purpose, but she's not testifying truthfully.
Now then, this court would like to end the cross-examination period.
Please wait, Your Honor. The defense would like to request that the witness testify one more time.
Overruled. I'm afraid you're too late, Mr. Wright. The cross-examination has already ended. Furthermore, any unrelated...
It's fine. I'll allow another testimony. Von Karma's case is perfect. Absolutely flawless. And what better time than this for you to see that?
But, I have some place I must go after this. All right, I'll allow it. Miss Hart, hurry and give us another testimony.
Well, heck. What am I supposed to talk about? Please tell us once more what happened when you burst into the channeling chamber. Oh, okay, I get it. See, you got through to the judge somehow, right? Well, actually, it was Von Karma's whip that got through to him. Witnesses account part 2. When we broke into that room, all I could focus on was I was, kind of scared of the dead body, so I didn't take a good look at it. I'm really bad when it comes to blood and ghosts and stuff. But I still managed to pull my camera at mine and take a shot.
Nothing sounds different from before.
Some parts of her testimony were very vague. I should press her on those sections. Struggle all you like as you taste the bitterness of your defeat. Well, amuse me with your useless questions, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm waiting. Witnesses account part 2. When we broke into that room, all I could focus on was Maya. So, what did she look like? You know, she looked almost like a different person.
A different person?
She may have seemed like a different person. However, she was still Maya Fey. We have already made that point abundantly clear.
Yes, that is true. Well then, Miss Hart, do you happen to see anything else?
I was, kind of scared of the dead body, so I didn't take a good look at it.
And perhaps that body was not Dr. Gray's at all.
Well, I reckon that's possible. If the body inside that room was not that of Dr. Gray, then whose body was it, Mr. Phoenix Wright?
Well, what if it was that of Maya Fey after the channeling? Or maybe...
Foolish fool spouting foolish foolishness. Just as I expected of a foolish fool such as you. If that were the case, then that would mean that Maya Fey is in fact dead. And that would make the defendant's chair quite a lonely place, wouldn't it? Sorry, Maya. Are y'all done here? Can I continue? I'm really bad when it comes to blood and ghosts and stuff. And even knowing that, you still persist in being a paranormal photographer? That's why I'm getting out of this here business. This gal's gonna get the dirt on the stars and be a tabloid photographer from now on. She goes through jobs faster than a baby through diapers. Mr. Phoenix Wright, would it kill you to stay on topic for a change?
Well, would it, Mr. Wright?
Nice. Tag teamed in stereo. Guess I should be grateful it's not in 5.1. But I still managed to point my camera at mine and take a shot. 2, right? 2 what? 2 shots. You took 2 shots.
But only one has been submitted as evidence.
Miss Hart, where is the other picture you have been withholding? No. You got it all wrong. It's not me. I didn't mean anything bad. I know I can be a little mean, but I ain't evil. Well, at least she knows herself.
Then why have you not shown this other picture to the court yet?
Well, ain't it obvious? That prosecutor woman told me to shut my trap about it. What? Von Karma!
Miss Von Karma, you're hiding critical evidence.
Unforgivable, Von Karma. Suppressing evidence like this, you're as bad as your father. Your Honor, the defense asked that Prosecutor Von Karma be held in contempt of court.
Well, yes. Ah!
Me? In contempt of court? You can't be serious. But you hid evidence from the court! On purpose! That's not fair! Phoenix, are you a lawyer or a school child? I was so angry I lost my composure.
Miss Von Karma, would you care to explain yourself to this court?
I thought this picture was not important, and thus felt no need to submit it. That's all.
How could you think that?
The pictures were more or less the same, so why bother with the second? I mean, it's just so much more trouble than it's worth for me to submit this as evidence.
More trouble than it's worth? How can you say that?
If you want to see it that badly, I'll submit it. Picture taken at the scene of the murder.
No bullet holes. What is this picture?
It's obviously the second picture the witness took that day at the scene of the crime. Well, it's a little off-center, but that's what you get with a nervous amateur.
I think the important...
My throat.
I think the important part here is the person in this picture. This is most definitely not Maya Fey. What is the meaning of this?
This might be the break I was looking for. Now, should I or should I not insist the person in the picture is not Maya? I'm gonna do it because it's funny, I think. Your Honor, as you can plainly see, the person in the picture is not Maya Fey.
Yes, I see that. Not just her face, her whole body is taking on a different appearance.
There is only one conclusion that can be drawn then. That somehow this other person snuck in and traded places with the defendant.
Order! 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 Oh, yes, I believe you are correct, Mr. Wright. The person who was inside the channeling chamber was not Maya Fey.
Mia, we did it! You're too soft.
Huh?
You're softer than Aunt Morgan's strawberry desserts, Phoenix. Take a look at Prosecutor Von Karma's face. She's smiling? I think you had better continue to worry, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Miss Von Karma, what do you mean by that?
Your Honor, I would like for you to take a look at this picture. This was taken yesterday at the detention center's visitor's room. This is Mr. Phoenix Wright and the defendant, Maya Fey, during his visit.
Maya Fey? But isn't this a totally different person?
She looks this way because she is obviously in the middle of channeling a spirit. Obviously.
It's unbelievable that she can...
Yet, it is the truth. When Maya Fey is in that state, she physically changes into the person she's calling. Miss Von Karma, a word, if I may.
Mia?
Taking pictures of someone during a private visit is illegal. Surely you must know that that picture can't be submitted as evidence. Obviously, I know this picture is illegal. But I never intended to submit it as evidence in the first place.
What is she?
From the moment I showed this picture to the court, this case became all mine. After all, this image has now been forever burned into the judge's mind.
I don't have even a single witty line.
It looks like we've been had.
I don't claim to understand this, and I still cannot believe it. Are you saying that this person is the defendant, Maya Fey? If I give up here, the trial will end. But if I slip up and say something wrong, it will cost me. Is there any way I can prove the person in the picture is not Maya? Your Honor. Oh, the fire has returned to your eyes, I see. This picture. Within this picture lies a critical contradiction to all the testimony up until now. A contradiction?
So, you think you've spotted a problem with this picture? Then earn your keep. Why don't you point out exactly what is so strange about this photo? Is it this arm?
Oh, fuck! I was trying to look at the court record. Damn it. Go away. I was trying to look at the court record because I wanted to know what sleeve it was. I think it's this sleeve. Please direct your attention here. Okay, I was right. So the sleeve? But there isn't anything odd about it. And that is exactly what is so odd. Something that should be there is suddenly missing.
Should be there.
Ah! There was a bullet hole in the sleeve of the defendant's costume. If that's the case, then it should be in this picture as well. Miss Von Karma, you intended to hide this valuable piece of evidence. You will most certainly be assigned a penalty for this.
All right. This should do some major damage to her argument. Don't celebrate yet. Like to bring the mood down, don't you? Take a look at Miss Von Karma's face. Ah, she's got that condescending grin plastered all over her face again. Jumping the gun again, I see. Your Honor, I would like to extend an apology on behalf of those incompetent fools.
What do you mean? And what incompetent fools?
If those fools down at the precinct hadn't missed the bullet hole, I would have gotten a report about it. As I didn't, I could not have known that this photo was of any value to this case.
I see. She's lying through her teeth. I know it. That woman knew everything. The bullet hole, the picture, everything.
But you can't prove that. Franziska von Karma's idea of a perfect case is quite fascinating, don't you think? Your Honor, you need not worry. If you must assign a penalty, I'll personally make sure that detective gets what's coming. I'm sure there will be a great gnashing of teeth at his next salary discussion.
Poor Gumshoe. In any case, this is a very big problem. When the defendant was taken into custody, her costume had a bullet hole in its sleeve. However, from this photo, it would appear that right after the shooting there was none.
The judge is confused by this strange twist of events. This is your chance, Phoenix. Load all you've got into this one shot, alright?
Got it. Watch this, Maya. Your Honor, there's only one logical explanation for the contradiction. The defendant's sleeve had a bullet hole in it. However, this person's currently does not. There can be only one explanation. The person who shot Dr. Gray was not the defendant, but a different person altogether.
What?
Order! 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 If order is not restored, I will suspend this trial. Oh!
Why me? The defense's argument is a complete mess.
A complete mess? I fail to see how. Please enlighten us.
Witness!
What the heck?
Is that any way to ask a gal a favor? Be quiet, you. You were the one who said it was only the two of them when you entered the room.
Well, you know.
If you were lying, I swear that my whip will be the last thing you see. Look, sis, you're looking mighty scary. So why don't we say you
I swear I wasn't lying or nothing. There wasn't anyone else in there, honest.
You see? Now riddle me this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Where did the defendant vanish to? And where did this other woman appear from?
Why is it lately all I want to do is cry? Well, if the person in this picture is not the defendant, then this poses two very big questions. First, where did the defendant vanish to? And second, where did this person come from?
That's right. Now hurry up and answer, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Come on, you can't fall apart here, Phoenix Wright. I can't believe that even me is calling me by my full name.
But, I mean, how am I supposed to prove something like that?
Had enough yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Or do you think you have enough in you to turn things around even now?
To turn things around? That's right. Mia would always turn things around and change her perspective.
Phoenix?
So, where did this intruder appear from? And where did Maya disappear to? I need to look at this situation from a different angle. Let's see. What if before we broke in, the third person was already in the room? And what if Maya had left that room somehow? I could prove that either one of those conditions were true. Mr. Wright, let's hear what you've come up with. I think what happened before we forced our way into the channeling chamber is... Before we forced our way into the channeling chamber?
So, like, there's obviously a huge empty space right here. They could have been waiting in there before even Maya and Dr. Gray got in there. Maybe that's what he means, but this makes it seem like she somehow got in. They were watching the door. It's either the top one or the bottom one. Maya had not yet left the room because she was in the box that was in the room, or in a box that was in the room. And then she was transported out. That's why that box is now in the side room, if I remember correctly. Maya had not yet left until Morgan rushed those two out of the manor to call the police. Third person was already in there before even Maya and Dr. Gray went in. But we don't know that. Let's do this. Let's do this one and see where it goes. If it's not this one, it's the bottom one. Your Honor, I would like to present some evidence. I have proof that there was someone else in the room before the murder took place. God, is it the floor plans or the black key? Black key. Take a good look at this. Okay, I've already seen it. Fuck. That stung. Present another piece of evidence. If it's not this, then I'm going to back up. Please take a good look at this. Okay, I've already seen it. Think it over again. I'm sorry, but I simply can't. You see? And the reason is quite simple. Because there is no explanation. That's why. As I thought. Another big waste of this court's time. Phoenix, you can't just give up like that. But, Mia, rethink things one more time. There has to be an explanation. I'm already perfect. So of course my conclusions are also perfect. Alright, Phoenix, calm down and let's try this one more time. What if before we broke in, the third person was already in the room? What if Maya had left that room somehow? If I could prove either one... Fuck! Before we forced our way into the channeling room, a third person must have entered it.
Please take a good look at this. Okay, I've already seen it. Maya had left the channeling chamber at some point, and the defense can prove this.
Is that what the key is for? But we know that's not true. I guess we don't know this at this point, but that's not true. I'm fairly certain. Oh, how a foolish fool makes a foolish face while dreaming foolishly foolish dreams. Maya Fey was being looked after by her aunt, Morgan Fey. The chances of her leaving the crime scene is lower than that detective's salary.
Anyway, let's see some evidence. Prove that from the murder until the time of arrest, the defendant had left the room.
Miss Hart, do you remember this key?
Well, I've seen it. Hey, that's the channeling chamber key, right? Before the channeling started, Maya locked the door from the inside with that.
The defendant herself locked the door?
Yeah, that's why we all couldn't get the door open. That key's the only one of its kind, after all. Oh, one of a kind, you say?
Wait, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Yes, looks like she's catching on. I'm afraid to ask, but why is that key currently in your possession?
Huh? What do you mean?
If Maya Fey locked herself in, then the key should have been with her.
Yes, agreed.
However, she did not have the key at the time of her arrest.
Ah, well, ain't that a kick?
So how come you're holding it?
I got this as a present from a certain little girl.
And that little girl was nowhere near the crime scene at the time. That's preposterous! This means that Maya Fey must have left the room. If she had not, then I would not be holding this key you see before you. No! My voice! Okay.
Seems we have come to an impasse. This picture has clearly captured the face of the murderer. However, is this person the defendant or not? The defense is arguing that this person is not the defendant. Furthermore, as proof, this key has been submitted as evidence. Miss Von Karma.
How can this be?
At this point in time, a verdict on the defense's guilt is not possible.
My perfect case. How is there a flaw in my perfect case? Don't think you've won yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm a prodigy. I have never lost a case. And I don't intend to lose here in this courtroom to a fool like you. I don't care what I have to do. I will get my guilty verdict.
That's enough. If you would like to continue, do so in the lobby. Court will reconvene tomorrow at 10 a.m. That is all. Court is adjourned. June 21st, 1:32 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3.
Wow! That was you, Pearly? You summoned my sis? Yes. I felt like I had no choice. Great going, Pearly. I knew you were special. Hey, Nick, did you know?
Yeah, it's not like anyone else in there could have done that.
Nick? I know you're trying really hard and all, but I really don't remember ever leaving that room. And I don't think that a third person could have gone into that room.
Yeah. Well, at least we have until tomorrow to figure things out. Like, what happened in that room, for instance.
Yeah, I'm counting on you. I envy the two of you. Oh, by the way, Nick, do you think you could take Pearly back home for me?
Sure. Alright, Pearls. You ready to go buy some tickets?
A cat?
Poor thing. So sheltered. To be continued. I would love... Save my progress. Alrighty. That was a lot. Okay. So I'm kind of ahead of this case because I already know one of the plot points, the fact that the real murderer hid behind the folding screen before anyone had even entered. So because of that, I was trying to go for that a third person had gone in. But I guess they were specifically asking how a third person would have gotten in during the seance. But also, we know that Maya never left during the seance because me and Lotta were both there. We would have seen them. But I guess we technically have proof that she could have left because the key was not in her possession like it should have been. So, okay. I think it does. It does. I think it does make sense. I don't know. I think it would have been. I think the question could have been phased a little better, or just been a little more straightforward. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I know how a part of this case plays out already, so I was trying to get to that part, even though that's going to be for the second trial. So I think I was just ahead. I think I was just ahead of the game because I've already played it, so I think I was just ahead of the game. Anyway, that is going to be it for now. The logic is a lot more interesting and makes you think a lot more. At least from what I can tell. Maybe it's just because I played this game less than I've played the first game. Because I played it once on my own, and then I also played it with a friend. Meanwhile, I've only ever played Justice for All and Trials and Tribulations just on my own the one time. So maybe like technically because I played it less, it's less obvious to my brain. But I do think that the problem solving is much more obtuse, which is not a bad thing. It really makes you think about all the pieces of evidence that you have. So I don't think it's bad at all. It definitely makes things more challenging, which I definitely appreciate, since the more challenge there is, the more I have to think things through. The more I think things through, the more interesting it becomes, because now I'm more likely to look over pieces of evidence and truly dissect them instead of just going, oh, it's obviously this piece of evidence at this point in the testimony. So I like that, at least personally. But yeah, that was going to be it for now. Thank you all for watching, especially if you got this far, and stick around, because there's a lot more to come.